Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. Okay, so just give you a quick update. Adam Campion, of the same name for his site, went and had a look at Josh Smith's Mini, or the engine I should say. They have it out and they stripped it down to check everything on it, and fortunately there is no damage to the engine. All the shells, the thrust bearings, everything looks very good. There is some parts they need to change. It looks like the oil pump, but they need a new oil pump. It seems that the main issue was whoever put the engine together have used an awful lot of silicone, well over the top. There's no need to put all this silicone in. If you're not putting gaskets to get together right, then you don't need to keep putting silicone in. And apparently some of this silicone has dropped down into the sump and into the pickup, into the oil pickup. So it's kind of slightly oil starvation, but it hasn't done any damage to any of the shells or anything, so which is good news. So Adam is going to kindly go back when he's got the parts and rebuild it for him, so that's good news. Bit surprised how many thumbs down I had on these two basically engine appeals that I had for Josh. I had 8 thumbs down on one and 6 on another, I think, which seems a bit mean-spirited, but whatever. You know, if you want to put a thumbs down, at least have the balls to make a comment, you know, or say something. But just hiding away like a coward, well, I guess that's what I'd expect from people that do that anyway. But if you have something to say it. You know, have some backbone. Anyway, that being said, it's good news, and yeah, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody when it comes, and thanks for all the subscriptions, all the likes and comments. It's much appreciated. In this video you're going to see the new lighting I've put in, the halos. Also a building or a property we were looking at to see if we could purchase it to use the workshop at the back and so on and so forth. So the bottom line is there is some issues with it. It's got a demolition order on it due to an explosion that happened some years ago. But we are trying to contact the owners to see if they're interested in selling the plot, and perhaps because it's a good plot, and perhaps demolish the house, leave the workshop, and put a new build on it. Anyway, we'll see what happens in the future. So as I said, have a great new year, and catch you in 2019. Bye. So you can see this is the one I'm going to go for, these Revolution 6x12. So as you can see, these are a really nice wheel, got some nice yoke armours on it. They've been beautifully cleaned up, and they've got the nice super light, and they've been beautifully done inside and out. A lot of money spent on them, so I'm going to put them up for sale. And as I said, I'll pass these on to... Oh. Now be careful with that fiberglass, it's very sharp. I've got a few bits of... Be careful with these, you need to really put gloves on when you wear them. Well, when you're using it, moving them around. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to change these for the Revolutions that you've just seen. I think it's the easiest option, rather than try and, you know, repair all these holes and then drill new ones and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to do. I thought I'd bring you up and show you this property up here. It's owned by somebody else now. But this is the workshop bit I was looking on the back here. It's quite large. Not massive, but it's fair size. But this, according to local knowledge, this was sold a couple of years ago, this place. I've got past it hundreds and hundreds of times certainly. And somebody bought it, and apparently what happened was about 4 or 5 years ago, the guy that owned it was in the cellar with some kind of gas bottle, and there was a massive explosion which he was killed in, and I think the cellar's underneath the house. And yeah, he was killed, and apparently it did so much destruction to the cellar in there that it's got a demolition order on it, but not for the shed at the back. You can see there's our house down there. It's literally in line with it. You can see it, the one to the left. The solar panels on it. You can just see the garage at the back, and then that's ours. But yeah, it's got to come down. It's got a demolition order on it. So yeah, I don't think there's much land with it. You see, there's a place down there. There's a cottage next door. But yeah, apparently it's got to come down. So I'm going to try and contact the new owners and see what they're going to do with it. But basically the whole thing's got to come down. It could have been renovated, great pity, but apparently the explosion in this cellar was massive. And I think it's undermined all the underpinning or the foundations of it, so I just thought I'd show you. The story is, basically, I've seen this for a long time, and then I noticed the bigger workshop at the back. And I've shown it to Amir. And then I didn't say anything to my wife about it while I was in the UK. And while I was away in the UK, she saw one that was up for sale, and it was number 70, I think this is 71. And she showed me a picture of it in a real estate agent, and I thought it was the same one. We both thought it was the same one within a couple of weeks of each other. It turns out it's not. It's one that's just round the corner from here, which is up for sale, but it's got no accommodation for vehicles or doing any work. But really nice view. Be a nice site, I think. You can see, if I bend down, you can probably see Regensburg in there. In fact, if I pan in, you can see the silhouette on the horizon there? This is a old extinct volcano with a schloss or a castle on the top. You can maybe just make out the castle there. So yeah, the one around the corner had nice accommodation, but it's not suitable for garaging or the workshop or whatever. So there you go. So I've turned this fluorescent light off so you can see it better. Obviously I took the grill out to do the cabling. So I'll show you. You'll hear the pump clicking, or maybe I'll just start it. So that's the pump. It's a faucet pump, that's why you're hearing the noise. See a massive difference in the power from this to this. I'll pick the camera up and I'll show you. You can see there's the headlight there. You can see, and that's on dip. I'll put it on main beam. I'll show you. Just a second. Sorry about bad camera work. So now you can see, well, too bright in fact. So what I'll do now is I'll turn the indicator off, and you can see it's off, and now there's your side light. See, that doesn't show up very well. I'll turn off the main beam, and then you can see it better. Better. I'll turn but you can see the difference there with that light. There's just absolutely no comparison. So there you go. I'll do the other headlight and I'll show you the wiring. So with the wiring on these, what I've done is, rather than actually crimp them into the line, I've got bullet connectors on here, so I've actually put crimped bullet connectors on them. The reason I've done that is because if there's an issue for the turf, I can always put the original lights back in and I won't have to rewire it. It's just a matter of pulling out the bullet connectors and putting the other ones back in. I don't see there being any problem, but you never know with these things, so I don't want to trap myself in a corner. So as I say, I've put these bullet connectors on them, and they're a standard fit anyway, and instead of just actually crimping them and then putting a heat shrink over the top of them. While we're on about the heat shrinking, it's much better if you use a hairdryer or a hot air gun. I've got a gun that blows hot air, and it's for paint areas and all kinds of stuff. But a hairdryer will do the same thing as long as it's on very hot. With a naked flame it works, but you can actually burn it a little bit. So it is actually better if you use hot air and it's really hot, and it will just collapse it much better. So this is the wiring. It's very straightforward. It's only a matter of connecting the yellow through the main harness back into the indicator lights, and the black, obviously, which is the earth, is redundant now, so there's nothing to do with it. As long as it's got this bullet connector on it, the female side, it's not going to do any. It's not going to be any problems. And the other thing is I contacted Tom Shorrock on Total Car Reviews, because I couldn't see where he'd put the relay in. In fact, there's enough room inside because of the depth of the light. There's enough room to put the relay inside without it rattling around. So I'll take you on and I'll show you the lights themselves, from the original to the new one, to the halos. So you can see this is an original light. I'll put these on the other 2 minutes because they're going to be standard, and you can see they were bullet type connections on them, the normal. But you can see the difference in the height from there to there. If you see how much the side light sticks up and the bulb itself compared to that, they're quite flat topped. You can see there. What's really good about these, in fact they fit even better than the original Mini, is these clips here fit far better than they do on the originals. You can see they've actually got 2 squares on them. You might have to open up the new clips a little bit, but you can see they fit perfectly right onto the square. So they're actually even better, to be honest, these ones. And obviously this is your relay, which is obviously going to sit across there when it's in place. I don't see there being any problems with that. You wouldn't want the relay outside. There is enough cable to do it. This must be, it says Jeep Wrangler on there, so this must be for a side light connection, I would imagine, so that's kind of redundant. And the other thing you get is obviously your red and your yellow for your side light and your indicator, and there's plenty of cable. So yeah, that's it. I'll call it a day there, and I want to just say Happy New Year to everybody. By the time I do the next one, so enjoy yourself, have a good drink, don't drive, be sure you got a taxi or a dedicated driver, and yeah, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and I'll see you next year in 2019. Take care guys, all the very best, have a drink for me, bye bye.